If I had actually known these things or had any idea about these things before I actually went into lashing, there's a chance that I actually may not be a lash tech today. My name is Ariel and I am the co-owner of Flowrish Lashes. We are a 6-figure business and we are growing to a 7-figure business. I started as a lash artist 6 years ago and I started from my living room. I started from literally nothing, working at Sephora, not even a proper 9-to-5 job. And today I'm here. So I am here to give you guys all my knowledge, all the things I've learned so that you don't have to go through the hard part and you can literally skip to the good part. In this video, I'm gonna tell you guys all about things that I wish I knew before I actually became a lash tech. I know I have a ton of subscribers that actually aren't lash artists as yet, or they're looking to be, or they're just trying to figure out whether or not this is for them. So that's why I'm gonna go through the things that I know now that I wish I knew in the beginning that could have definitely changed or dictated my decision in becoming a lash artist. I'm gonna go through 3 tips that I think will definitely help and kind of gauge you in the right direction, whether or not this is for you or it isn't. My very first thing that I do wanna get into is how much of a commitment lashing is. I know a lot of people, and myself included, I started off lashing or wanting to become a lash artist as a side hustle, as like more of a, in my spare time kind of thing. And I think that's what a lot of people think about is like, hey, let me make a little bit of extra money on the side doing lashes. And yes, you can, but you have to understand that it's not like doing something where I have a little bit of downtime on the weekend and I can maybe whip up together a couple clients and make an extra $100. It's definitely not like that. Most of us, and I will say 80% of us, are not good after we get certified. And again, myself included, it takes a ton of practice, a ton of growth, and you want to be able to do something that you actually enjoy, because if you don't enjoy doing it, you're not going to want to put in that time, you're not going to want to put in that effort, and you're not going to want to invest back into yourself to actually become that lash artist that you could be. One other thing I do want to talk about, especially with like the commitment side of it, is it's not necessarily something where you get certified and then, hey, like, I can maybe start taking clients next week or whatever. Yeah, possibly, maybe, depending on your situation. But honestly, it does take at least a couple months before you're able to take someone where they will be willing to pay you. Or even if they are willing to pay you and you're just not at that level yet, you're gonna be hurting yourself more than you will benefit yourself. And it's gonna hurt you in the long run. My number 2 thing that I kind of wish I knew before going into it is that the money wouldn't roll in right away. And this is kind of touching on my last point a little bit as well. But I know a lot of people end up doing lashes because they're looking for like quick money. And a lot of times that doesn't necessarily happen and you don't get the reward you think you're gonna get, especially when you spend like 2 or 3 grand on a training and you don't end up getting that back right away. That's not necessarily something to kind of shy you away from doing lashes, but it's something to know and to be a little bit more realistic about when it comes to getting certified, because I genuinely believe, and I know it actually for a fact, that the more you put into lashing, the more you'll get back. I can honestly say that me being the person I am today is a lot to do with lashing. It taught me so much about independence, having to force myself to do things because it's not somebody telling you to do it. You have to do it yourself, because if you don't do it yourself, you're not going to get clients. There's going to be no clients coming to you if you're not posting, if you're not actually showing what you can do, if you're not growing, if you're not learning. It's all about self-development. That's what lashing is, and that's something that people don't realize. They're quick to jump to their training and say their training was garbage. And yes, don't get me wrong, your training probably was garbage, but at the same time, we also need to understand that lashing and being a good lash artist does take a lot of self-development. It does come down to you knowing you want to do this, you knowing that this is something that you want to grow at, and you actually putting your foot forward to learn these skills and get better and find clients, and literally don't just sit there and wait for these things to happen to you. You have to go out there and get them. That is something that people don't do with lashing. They treat it as a skill and a technique. And yes, it is a skill, it is a technique. But when you're trying to build a clientele for yourself, it is a business. You need to learn how to function as a business owner. You need to change the way you do things, the way you look at things, because now you're not just, sitting at home waiting for your shift to start.
You're sitting on the couch, you're watching TV, and your life is passing you by. You keep procrastinating over and over. Well, maybe I'll go to school next year, or maybe next semester. No, do it right now.
Okay, so I talked a lot about like, I don't want to say negatives, but more of things that like aren't necessarily spoken about as often and things that you should know. But I do want to touch on a huge positive impact that lashing has had on me. And honestly, it's being in this position today and being able to make my own schedule and being able to kind of have the freedom to do something for myself. If it wasn't for lashing, I would never have had that opportunity. And I was able to take a skill and something that I learned and create an entire business off of it. And that's the beauty about lashing, is that yes, it is a skill, it is a technique, but it's so much more than that. And you could go so much further than just working from home. And that's where a lot of you start. I started there. I started in like my living room in front of my TV. And then I worked my way into my basement to create a little studio for myself. And then I'm in an entire office today. And I can honestly say that when I started lashing, got my certificate, I never thought that I would be able to teach people the way I'm able to teach now. I did know like a little bit further into my lashing career that I did want to teach, but in that very moment, it was definitely a side hustle. It was definitely something where I was like, let me make a little extra cash. But it ended up turning out to be my entire life, and frankly, my fiance's entire life too. And now our entire world is based into the lash industry and something that we love, and doing things that kind of impact the industry itself. So it's crazy how something so small and something so I guess like something you didn't think could build into something bigger can actually take you further than you can imagine. That is something that I highly recommend with lashing. It's just you don't know where you're gonna end up. There's so many avenues. And if you can really take this seriously and you can actually find something that you love, then the options are endless and the possibilities are endless, and you can literally do anything with it. Okay, so now that the year is coming to an end, I've gotten so many inquiries about training, and I'm so grateful that you guys want me to train you. And I unfortunately cannot fit everybody in. It is definitely getting a little bit crowded. So because of that, I definitely wanted to offer you guys something else, and something that is definitely gonna be a lot more impactful in a different way. As of January 2022, I will be hosting my very first masterclass right here in Toronto. It's gonna be a 2-day masterclass. I am so excited to give this information to you guys. The info that I give here on YouTube is all about tips and tricks and how to build your skill level and all that good stuff. And yes, that is vital information, but that is something I give to you guys for free. The information that's gonna be in this masterclass is more than that. It's gonna be all about the business knowledge. Yes, it's gonna be about learning the skill, it's gonna be about learning the technique, but it's gonna be all about what you can do with that skill and technique. Because it's one thing to learn it, but it's all about what you do once you have it. So this masterclass is gonna be something that you do not wanna miss if you are interested in changing the way you look at money, if you are interested in changing the way that your perspective is on lashing. I am not here to make you guys a local lash artist. I am here to make you guys a lash boss that can take a 6-figure business like mine and make it your own. Okay, so this was a little bit of a different video. This is something that I think is super important to put out there. And for people who are looking to get into the lash world, I am so happy that you can watch this video and have a little bit of understanding on where you can go with this and what to expect when it comes to being a lash artist, along with all the tips and tricks I have to offer. Please check those out too if you are looking to grow your skill and your techniques. Definitely look at my last videos. I have a ton of tips and tricks that you can follow. But again, I do want to emphasize there is a business perspective of this as well, and that's why I like to incorporate these videos here and there. So if you guys like this video, don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe, and I'll be back with something new next time. Bye.